Hello, welcome to the weather update. It is 9:30, September 18th, 2022. And you can see across the area, we definitely were dealing with some smoke again today in the skies. Got a little better toward the later afternoon and evening. It didn't seem quite as bad as yesterday. So that video I took in Babylon, it was very hazy yesterday. A little less hazy, and I'll show you what I mean. I have a whole video that I was at Jones Beach. I actually walked all the way to the west end and back, and there was some blue sky here, as you see. They actually planted some pitch pines over on this end. You'll definitely want to see that video. But anyway, we want to talk about Hurricane Fiona first, though, all right? Because it's a very serious situation. We have a very slow-moving hurricane still over Puerto Rico, all right? So let's go to the latest from the National Hurricane Center on Hurricane Fiona. And it rapidly strengthened yesterday, all right? So let's first go to the warning cone here, and you'll see here we've got hurricane warnings in effect for Puerto Rico and part of the Dominican Republic as well. And now they've really upped the forecast now on this thing. It's strengthened a lot more than they thought, even while it was over the island, which I've never seen before. I was not expecting that. We thought it was going to be maybe a high-end tropical storm. All right, this thing is continuing to strengthen, and it's going to become a major hurricane. It looks like it's going to go right over Bermuda. So this is going to be another monster hurricane. But luckily, as you see, it recurves out to sea. But still, it's going to have impacts. You could see tropical storm warnings in effect for the Bahamas as well, and tropical storm watches in effect as well for parts of Hispaniola. And you can see here, this is going to become a major hurricane. So let's get the latest statistics, and then we're going to talk about the catastrophic damage that is occurring with the latest the catastrophic damage in Fiona from this, because it's not just the wind. Heavy rainfall and catastrophic flooding are occurring. All right, so as of 8 p.m. Sunday, September 18, 2022, the center of Fiona heading for the eastern Dominican Republic, heavy rainfall and catastrophic flooding continues across much of Puerto Rico. So its location is 18.1 north, 67.8 west, about 45 miles west of Mineola, Puerto Rico, and about 50 miles southeast of Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. Maximum sustained winds are 85 miles an hour, moving northwest at 9 miles an hour. So it's a slow mover. Minimum central pressure, 985 millibars to 9.06 inches. All right? And there's a lot of catastrophic flooding here. So getting on to the hurricane force winds here, the extent is outward up to 30 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 140 miles from the center. A wind gust of 55 miles an hour was recently reported at Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico. A sustained wind of 44 miles an hour with a gust of 55 has been measured at Los Mineola in Puerto Rico within the past couple of hours, and I'm sure that there is there's going to be having a lot of problems getting information out of Puerto Rico, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So we've had a lot of rain in this area, all right, and there's tremendous flooding. So we are going to go here, and this is what Puerto Rico, here it says 12 to 18 inches of rain, 30 inches. I believe we've already had reports of 30 inches in Dominican. Can you imagine 30 inches of rain? All right, even though they've rebuilt so much after that horrible hurricane that hit a while ago, I think it was Maria or one of those hurricanes, and it's all been washed away already. Puerto Rico could become unlivable after this. This is a major disaster. All right, while they should help should help the citizens of Puerto Rico, because I think they're going to need to probably evacuate their island. So let's get to the latest on Fiona as far as what it's doing to Puerto Rico. So the power is out in Puerto Rico completely, all right? And you can see here, lights go out. Here's the article from AccuWeather. Powerless in Puerto Rico, Hurricane Fiona causes an island-wide blackout. Now, the power grid there is very fragile. It's been damaged, and it was never really fixed properly. And now the grid has completely failed again. So Puerto Rico is completely without power. You can see here, Sunday afternoon, a transmission grid knocked out 1.4 million track residents. So the transmission line went down, basically. Internet outages also spiked. Luma Energy, who was absolutely horrible, the private company that they had a state they had a state power, and they had a private company take it over, and it's even worse now than it was before. Loom Energy, the private company that handles the transmission and distribution of electricity, stated that a full power restoration could take several days, but I think it could be even worse than that. The damages we're seeing are catastrophic. So the island is completely without power. The lights actually went out while there was a briefing. It's a really bad situation here. All right, yeah, Hurricane Maria, the power system there is a real mess. You can see when the yep, there you go. That's the way they're living in Puerto Rico right now. So it's pretty horrible right now. It's pretty horrible. Loom Energy is pretty bad. Their infrastructure just cannot handle it. And yeah, we are going to talk about a little bit about this in the weather update as well. So let me just hit the back button if we can. All right, it doesn't seem like it wants to do that. All right, so now we got to go back in Puerto Rico again. I hate when they do that. Sometimes they disable the back button, and the back button just does not work on the browser. All right, so there's been a lot of flooding in Puerto Rico. Hurricane Fiona causing catastrophic flooding, as you see here. All right, and you have a lot going on here. Catastrophic flooding, according to CNN. All right, so catastrophic flooding, and it's you can see there it is on the radar. You can see that 12 to 18 max 30 inches possible. All right, rain. All of Puerto Rico, according to the Category 1. So it knocked out the transmission grid in Puerto Rico, which is very, very fragile. And Loom Energy operates the power grid there. And they have a lot of power outages there. Even when there's just small storms, the power goes out. So this is going to be a big problem. And I want to just point out to you, if we can go into Street View here on the Google, and I'll show you their power grid. Let's do that. So I'll show you the power grid there, if we can, because there is, if we can find it. I want to show you what it looks like, but I've got to find the major substation here. I know it's somewhere on the south end of the island, and this is where they have basically their transmission lines are pretty bad, but I've got to find it, so that's the issue. But it's somewhere along the south end of the island here, and let's see if we can find it here. I don't want to waste too much time in this weather update. Actually, we could do this. Substation. Let's see. Let's see if we can find it. All right. Oh, I think it's this one. Nope, that's not it. Let's see. Is this it? Let's see. This one might be a sub. Nope. Not really showing any of them. Yeah, they're not really showing where the substation is. I'm trying to go by memory. My memory is not very good, so I know it's somewhere along the south end of the island. They have. We can kind of look and see where they have their power grid. I'm really trying to help you find. I want you to understand what's going on here, but I have to show you, and of course that's all on memory. And of course Google has nothing. They're not helping me out at all. Sorry I'm wasting your time in this weather update, but you'll just have to bear with me, because it's very relevant to what we're talking about. It's not, none of them. I don't understand why Google doesn't have this. It's along the south. I know that it's along the south, alright? I'm going to pause the video, and I'll be right back when I find it. Well, after searching for nearly 20 minutes, because there's no information on where these substations are or anything like that. Here's one of the examples of what I mean here in Puerto Rico with the power grid. So You can see these power lines here. They kind of go up into the mountains here. All right, so here's some other. It looks like a wood structure right there. That's not good. So this is very antiquated here. You can see that. And go up here. At least it looks like they replaced these two lines here with something a little more modern. But they have a lot of old transmission lines here. Steel lattice transmission lines. If we, were to Google here, Maria transmission lines, Puerto Rico, you'll see what I mean. Let's see, we can pull up some pictures here of what happened in Puerto Rico with the transmission system here, if we can find it. So yeah, there's a wood pole that's down. I had a lot of these kind of poles here. Very delicate little metal lattice. They're delicate, those. They're not strong enough. And so I have a feeling some of them went down. But I wish I could find some more information for you. But again, they don't, a lot of this is, well, here's a map. Here's a little map of Puerto Rico. Okay, so there is the southwestern part of the island. There is a thing. So if we go to maps, all right, so the southwestern part of the island right there. If we go to maps, let's see what we can get to. Back to Puerto Rico here. I think that is where we were looking. This general area here. There's major substations and power infrastructure. But you can see it's not built well, and it can't handle. Compare to you compare it to FPL stuff. And it's completely different, I wish I could find. I don't know. They had like a huge substation down here. I just don't remember where it was. It's so unbelievable. I can't find it, so it's very annoying. Because I know they had one, and this is like the power generation area, but it doesn't show you where the actual substation is, unless they dismantled this big substation that they had over here and moved it to smaller substations. Maybe that's why I can't find it. I don't know, but it's a big problem there in Puerto Rico with the power grid. I spent a lot of time on it, way too much in this weather update. But I figured I would point this out because it is a big, big problem, and these storms are only getting worse. So let's get to the latest satellite image of Hurricane Fiona. I'd like to first go to a floater. So let's do storms here. And Fiona, so you can take a look at. All right, I clicked Fiona. Why is nothing happening? Oh, it's not responding. Oh, that's nice. Well, while we wait for it to respond, maybe we can find this big substation that was around here. But you can see, you have a power grid that just is not built to handle these storms in Puerto Rico. And that's why it's these power lines, they go through the mountains, they go into remote areas, and they can't be reached if the line goes down. And you don't see any. One thing you notice here is that you don't see, and what makes it hard for me to find the substation, is there are no clear-cut power right-of-ways. The power lines just kind of run through the trees, which is not good. So that's why they have the problems they do. But let's get back to the weather. I know I spent way too much time on that. Here is the floater for Hurricane Fiona, and you can see, look at it. Even though it is over land, it is just impressively strong. And you can see all the rain that it's dropping. So it's causing catastrophic flooding, and it's definitely going further south and west than we thought. Originally, we thought it was going to brush maybe the northeastern part of Puerto Rico. You can see it's more the southwest side, which puts Puerto Rico in the northeast side, which is the worst side of the storm. And now you see it's going to be impacting the Dominican Republic pretty badly as well. Let's go and look at the latest on Fiona here. Here is the another satellite image. You can just see it's just blowing up here. It's just blowing up. And, if we go to the other thing here, and we'll surprise it's no Puerto Rico. Let's go to here we go. Here's Puerto Rico. All right, so you can see. Let's make this. Oh, I can't make this loop longer. Okay, so you can see here it's just a lot of convection blowing up all around. You can see those blow-ups, and this thing went through a real strengthening phase yesterday. So yeah, this is a pretty impressive storm, and it's going to get a lot worse. And luckily after it's done with these islands, it'll track. If you look at the spaghetti models here, and you've seen the official track, it should eventually, unfortunately, it's going to be affecting the Dominican Republic, but then after that, maybe glancing effects of some of the Bahamas. The only other island where it could be affected would be the Bermuda, and then these miles right now take it into Newfoundland. So yeah, that's remarkable right there. So if we look at the intensity guides, look at how far these models take it now. So obviously it's got plenty of warm water to work with, and it's going to strengthen, and it's going to get much, much, much worse. Luckily, it will be out to sea, but we're going to feel the effects with the surf for sure. So let's get now to the current observations here. And you'll see here temperatures, it's getting a little humid out there. We'll go over what it was like the past couple of days here as we wait for this to load now. So the Weather Service site, probably because of everybody watching Maria, is running very, very slowly, as you can imagine. There was an issue retrieving the observations requested. Please try again later. So we can't really find out any current information right now from the Weather Service. The site appears to be down. So we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, and we're going to have to go through here. And that means limited observations. Yeah, it's not working. So let's go over here and just see here. Islip 73 degrees. Dew point is now up to 68. So let's show you what the day was like today here. And if we take a look here, you will see here that we had temperatures generally in the low. We got up to the low 80s. It was a decent breeze on Long Island. You'll see the dew points definitely did rise. Now we look at yesterday. You'll see yesterday definitely was a lot cooler. This is yesterday. And we only got up into the mid-70s yesterday. It was still pretty cool yesterday. The dew points were fairly low as well. So yesterday was definitely cooler than today, but today wasn't all that bad here on Long Island. Say it's very annoying I don't have that site for you. Let's look at West Hampton. 72, dew point 68. And again, you will see temperatures. West Hampton only got to 79. You see those dew points definitely came up compared to yesterday. Definitely didn't have the low that we had. We'll have to look at Saturday's low, but looks like it's still Saturday morning. It still got pretty cool. It got down to 49 at West Hampton. And again, it says clear, but we had the smoke around, obviously, keeping the haze in the sky yesterday. So let's now go to one more site here, and we'll look at something in New Jersey. It's a 73. See how much warmer it was in New Jersey today. It was warmer today in New Jersey. Got up to 85 today in New Jersey. It's a little warmer there. Let's go to Wonderground. Again, being that we're having a problem with the other site, we'll use Wonderground just to look at the current conditions of what's going on out there. Definitely felt a lot warmer in the middle of the island when I got back from the South Shore, and it is. So we're 76, so still in the mid-70s here, but if you're on the South Shore, more like the low 70s. It's cool, you're getting a sea breeze, but here we're not getting that much of a sea breeze. So if we look at Mineola, the conditions in Mineola, you'll see it's 75, and let's see what it hit today. It's saying 87. I don't know if it got quite that warm. It did seem to be a big drop around 824, and then it bumped back up again. I don't know what that's about. And the wind also picked up. So there was a drop right around when the wind picked up. So I don't know if that was a sea breeze coming through or what, but we will check a few other stations and see if we see that same thing, or something, maybe just some issue with that station, perhaps. So let me look at Carl Place and see, and we'll compare it and we'll see. So yeah, 82 is probably more like what it hit, but you can see when the sea breeze came in right around 4, because you had westerly winds, and then the sea breeze came in, and the humidity came up, but the temperatures dropped. All right. But if you're on the South Shore, again, if we're on the South Shore now, sitting pretty, let's say, let's go to our favorite South Shore town, Massapequa, and and we will look at what it's like. So it's much cooler there, 72.9, and they only got up. They didn't even hit 80 today. So yeah, they had the breeze all day long. It was real nice. We didn't have that, and of course tonight it's quite warm. You know, when you come back to this area from the South Shore, it feels like you're almost stepping foot in Manhattan. It just feels that warm. It's you can tell the air quality changes. It's definitely not as good. So let's go and take a look at the models here, and we'll start with the GFS, obviously, and we'll start with the North American view, and we'll look at the jet stream here. So you will see here that again we have a messed up jet stream. See a little ridging in the east there, and that ridging is going to keep us above normal this week. But then you start seeing some troughs come through. Here's one toward the end of this upcoming week that we're going to have. All right, so the end of this week, we'll have a trough come through, bring in some cooler air, and then luckily, it looks like we'll have a series of troughs come through for at least a little bit and bring us some cooler air. But this jet stream still looks extremely disorganized. Let's go to the height. So this kind of shows us where our ridges and troughs are. All right, so you see we got that ridge, but we start seeing some troughing, especially as we get toward the weekend. There's that trough that's going to pick up. There's Fiona going to pick it up and kick it out to sea. Luckily, thank God that trough's there. All right, but it could pull it into Newfoundland, perhaps. All right. Then another trough sets up after that. Keep bringing another more blast of cool air, but then you could see a ridge as we get toward October starts to develop. So the cool down will be brief, and then we'll go back to probably being above normal. So let's go look at the surface, and on the surface you will see here that tomorrow we're still under the influence of that warm high pressure system, but then you see a little weak front come through. There's Fiona, and you see a little weak high, and then another trough comes through with a stronger cold front for overnight into early, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And then we start getting into some beautiful air, high pressure builds in. Hopefully, no smoke, nice clear skies, and that's going to give us a nice weekend. And then the next series will come through and maybe bring us some rain. It looks like, but we'll have to see how much rain we'll get out of it. And then more cool, dry air builds in again for later in the month. And that high looks like it's going to sit over us for a while, perhaps giving us some nice weather. So I'll have to see what happens there. So let's now go to the HRRR. And obviously, this is the 0Z HRRR, so here you go. Looking for rain. Oh, there's some rain upstate, but it just barely gets here. So we're barely going to, maybe an isolated shower tomorrow night, and that's about it. All right. And so that's not good because we're in a drought. Drought is continuing. So now let's go look at the dew points and wind flow. So you can see we've got the southwesterly flow, and it turns to westerly by tomorrow. Then it starts to become a little more southwesterly again. But there's like some some wind shifts going on here. It's interesting, but it's going to remain humid tomorrow with the west wind becoming south. But still, the best effects will be on the south shore. And then for Tuesday, you'll notice the winds go to the northwest, and then we start seeing the drier air coming on in, somewhat drier air coming on in, dropping the dew points down somewhat on Tuesday, but not. It's still going to be warm. So we look at our temperatures here. You will see that as we get into tomorrow, you'll see it's going to be warm like today, and probably highs up into the low to mid 80s. It's going to be a warm one tomorrow. All right, though on the south shore, it will probably be cooler. And then obviously it won't cool down that much at night. And then for Tuesday, a little bit cooler, upper 70s to around 80, with that behind that cool front, we'll call it. But if we want to go further than that, then we've got to go look at the GFS, and we will do that now. So looking at your dew points, you'll see that they come back up a little bit on Wednesday again. Ahead of the next cold front. Here we are. Here comes the next cold front coming on through. And then, boom, now we're in some real nice air. But Thursday, dew points drop into the 40s, even 30s by Friday. Northwest winds, and pretty strong northwest winds, too, I might add. Here we are Saturday, still pretty strong northwest winds. And then Sunday, you start seeing the south winds come back. But they won't be back for long because another cold front will come through and bring in some more nice weather. So this is a good pattern. Look at that. Dew points in the 20s and 30s. So... and then as you get in October, you start seeing it warm up again there with the dew points. So let's see what this all does for our temperatures, obviously. So here we are Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. You can see it's a little cooler on Wednesday. I think because of there's an easterly flow and maybe some more cloud cover. And we'll look at the chance for rain. So here we go for Thursday. Look at to the north. It's only in the 50s. So we're going to be in the probably around the low 70s. Then when this really comes in, we may not even hit 70 on Friday. It's going to be a great day. Going to be very cool. And then that continues for the weekend, Saturday, next Sunday. And then you start seeing it warm up again as you get toward Monday. But then there'll be another front coming through that'll bring some cool air. All right. As you get toward the end of the period into October, you'll see it warms up. But nothing crazy, But still, around 80 is still going to be like 10 degrees above normal for that time. So now let's go look at our rainfall chances, and again, I mean, it's not great. So if we run this all the way through let's run this all the way through to Thursday here, and take a look at our total accumulated precip. You'll see it's not great. Maybe there's a chance of rain with that front on Thursday. Maybe we'll get something. But if I run it all the way through here, it's not great looking. Not great. We would like those purples over us. Unfortunately, that's not going to be happening. So let's go to the skies next. So skies, obviously, this is the GFS again, low resolution, but see, there'll be some clouds around tomorrow, and of course, probably some of that smoke. We'll have to look at the smoke model as well. Here you are Tuesday, really sunny. There's some clouds on the ground, maybe more sun over New Jersey. Wednesday, we'll probably be seeing some more clouds around. And then Thursday, we'll have some mostly sunny skies. That front pushes south. And then Friday, also probably mostly sunny, very nice and breezy. And then Saturday, we'll probably see some more increase in clouds. I don't really want to go any further than that. So let's go to the RGM next, which is, of course, higher resolution. And you'll see here on the RGM that for tomorrow, there's not that many clouds, but just cirrus level clouds, nothing thick. So the sun will still be out. And then, of course, you have that chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. We'll look at one more model for that. For Tuesday, it's got a few clouds over Long Island maybe, but mostly sunny probably for most areas. And Wednesday, it's not really showing a whole lot of clouds for Wednesday either, to be honest with you. So let's now go to the NAM. I guess go to the NAM, and we will go. We're not going to look at clouds on this, but we are going to look at precipitation. And I'll have to use the 12Z, 18Z NAM for this. And just take a look at this next chance for precipitation with this front. That's a nice line there, but look, it's just hitting New England. Maybe we'll get a piece of it. That would be great if you get that heavy cell right over the Pine Barrens, just a little bit further to the south. But again, this is the NAM. It has a tendency to overdo it a little bit. And it's also developing another little bit of instability on Tuesday, but it has a tendency to overdo it. The NAM is, I wouldn't count on this. This would be nice. This could be a good severe weather event, too. We hardly had any of those. But, again, it's really, if you look at some of the other models, we could look at the FV3 high res, which we don't have enough of the new one in. You can see here it is, and it kind of shows that, but it's much more scattered. It's just, the support just isn't there for anything widespread. So, let me go to the smoke model, and we will do that last. And we have the 0Z smoke model loop, and I think we do. So let's go ahead and look at the vertically integrated smoke, and I'm hoping we get a break from some of this smoke that's been, it looks like it's gone, so there'll just be slight bits of smoke, but it won't be nearly as much. Yeah, so tomorrow will be better with the smoke. That's good, so we'll see some more blue in the sky. Although, honestly, like I said, later this afternoon, it wasn't all that hazy. It was definitely better than it was yesterday, despite being more humid. So let me just go to the MODIS satellite, and we can go ahead and look at that's what's going on the west right now. And you see there's a lot less smoke because they're getting help. They're getting some rain. They're getting some moisture, less winds, and it's helping them get these fires into control, fortunately. And there's the smoke that's been over us. You can see this is, again, the high-resolution satellite, and there is Fiona right there. So, again, we'll look at Fiona one more time. It's unbelievable what's going on there. So that's Fiona today, and this is Fiona yesterday. So you can see it was approaching Puerto Rico, and then today it's just hitting hard. And again, we have all these issues. And again, they've had a lot of problems with their power grid, as you see here. They've had a lot of problem here with their power grid here. So it's a big problem, and because their power grid definitely has issues, and it cannot handle of these storms. And like I said, I wish I could show you where that big substation was, because I know there was one around here, but of course I can't find it, and it's annoying me. I know where it was, I just can't find the darn thing. So, just give me one more I'm going to give you one more chance to find this, to show you what it's like. Well, I'm sorry, I can't find it, and so I'm sorry. I don't remember where it is, and I can't find it. But you get an idea of what's going on in Puerto Rico right now, and we're praying for everybody in Puerto Rico. And again, it's you can see here, Puerto Rico is without electricity, island-wide outage due to this storm here. And again, the electric company there is called Luma Energy, and we go to Luma Energy here. Let's see if they're even updating people on it. Electricity transmission line outages, which are called, contributed an island-wide outage. So the transmission lines are just not up to the task of handling these storms. And this is a big problem, because you can't find the power lines because they're not in clearly marked right-of-ways. There's trees literally running through trees, so it's not surprising. The tree probably went down on them, and they obviously tripped out, and the whole island is without power, and it's horrible dealing with all this stuff and being without power on top of it. I mean, there's nowhere on the whole island there is power right now. If we go to power outage, U.S., you will see here. You see Puerto Rico here in red, and Luma has re-energized some circuits. However, there's limited information and no numbers on how many customers have been restored. And it says 33 megawatts are being delivered. So this was as of while we're doing the weather updates. They're trying to maybe get some of the generation locally up. But again, it's an island-wide outage. And let's just pray for Puerto Rico as they deal with this horrible natural disaster. Thank you for watching this weather update.